Look, I've lost count of the number of ironies evident in this private member's motion on workers' rights, and which is presented to us here tonight by the very party that participated in degrading these rights during their 5-year stint in power. It's disconcerting to think that instead of standing up for Labour rights, the Labour Party in fact degraded workers' rights and conditions during the 5 years they were in government alongside Fine Gael. In fact, it's incredible the rate of degradation that occurred during the Labour Party's tenure. The Labour market is unrecognisable today, just as the Labour Party is too, as it presents a cynical piece of work referring to working people in Ireland. I think workers across Ireland deserve more respect than this kind of mockery. Instead of presenting a list of demands in their motion, I believe workers deserve to hear an explanation as to why the Labour Party rejected on numerous occasions to increase the protection for workers in Ireland. Why did the Labour Party allow the disintegration of workers' conditions to occur? Why did it not ensure that enough resources were allocated to the new Workplace Relations Commission and the Labour Court for enforcement of recommendations? And why at the same time did it cut back on income supports to address income security? Today is a timely one for a motion such as this. The trade union Unite published a report today labelling Ireland as a low-pay economy with high levels of income inequality compared to other prosperous countries. Pay increases since 2010 have disproportionately benefited higher-earning groups, and Ireland was found to have the second highest level of wage inequality in the EU 15 after Portugal, with living standards 15% below the average. A striking aspect of Unite's report is it found poor pay is compounded by low levels of employers' social insurance, which means Irish workers have to pay more to access services such as healthcare. It dispels the myth that Irish wages are too high and uncompetitive. According to the report, Ireland suffers from a very low social wage, employers' social insurance, and explains the high cost of public services and low in-work supports for Irish employees. The social wage would have to more than double to even come near the EU average 15. That's why income security is so important, yet the Labour Party made drastic cuts to these as well. Cuts to job seekers, pharmacists, cuts to income disregards, and reductions in subsidiary allowances have affected many low-paid workers in my constituency in Donegal. In particular, seasonal workers have had to borne the brunt of these brutal cuts. The seasonal workers are reliant on social welfare payments for the parts of the year where they don't have any work at all to try and supplement their income. But they were cut savagely under the tenure of Labour when they were in government. Budget cuts in 2012 have left the situation for seasonal workers even more precarious. They might find work in hotel or restaurant sector or remain unemployed for much of the rest of the year and have to rely on social welfare at that time. We are a low-paid economy, and the Labour Party, when they were in government, subsidised low pay through the social welfare system. Today, there are over 60,000 families dependent on family income supplement, which is a direct subsidy to low wages across the country. Legislation alone will not tackle the culture of exploitation that is evident in many of our workplaces, and it will not tackle the level of vulnerability that workers suffer to exploitative practices. Enforcement needs to be the main part of the solution, and creating an environment which obliges employers to comply with labour law. However, we've seen employers like Tesco refusing even to attend Labour Court proceedings. We've seen a lack of enforcement of Labour Court recommendations, and the balance is tipped in favour of the employer, which is a real sign of workers' rights are at an all-time low. Most employers, or a lot of employers, simply ignore recommendations. An employee would never be given this leeway, so why should employers? There's a lack of enforcement in dealing with employers who simply lock up the shop and walk away, leaving their workers without any compensation. That same employer then goes on to set up a new company the following day and still gets away without paying any of its previous employees. There are many, many cases of this, and practically all of them are non-unionised workers, and they're known to be by their employers, and therefore they're the first to be exploited. I would like to just end my contribution here tonight by saying that the way to strengthen workers' rights and recognising them is through ratifying economic, social and cultural rights. I have a bill on the order paper which I introduced in the last week to seek to have these rights enshrined in our constitution, which specifically would address workers' rights and the rights to collective bargaining. And I would hope that the economic and social cultural rights would be recognised as a way to promote these issues to be addressed in the Dáil today, and make sure that the next time the Labour Party in government, they'll be constitutionally barred from attacking workers' rights.
Thank you, Deputy.